This is the Coach Bryan Moore Show with Opelika head football coach Bryan Moore. And now with Coach Moore, the voice of the Bulldogs, Van Riggs.
Welcome in an exciting state championship show edition of the Bryan Moore Show, and we'll kick things off like we've been doing the past few weeks because things have been going really good, and that's with defensive coordinator Adam Massey to start out our show. Coach, I know it was nice to be practicing during Thanksgiving, been a lot of fun. The holidays are a little bit better when you're playing football, right?
Absolutely, yeah, it's always a good time to be practicing ball on Thanksgiving, so it's a great time for sure.
Talk about your group's effort in that big win against Auburn. I know you had a lot of unknowns going into that game who may play at quarterback, and number one Went was pretty good. And you guys did a great job of limiting the big plays and doing a good job on defense.
Yeah, it was a week where I kind of honestly felt like the other kid, was going to play. I didn't know if he'd play that early like he did, right. But I think he came in kind of an emergency deal for him, and just big plays to start the game with. Big pick six. They were on the second play of the game, and then that kind of got it rolling. They probably didn't finish the game like we wanted to there, but man, as a whole, I thought it was a great night of you're right, limiting explosives and making them drive there and being opportunistic and making the plays when we need to make the plays.
I thought a big key was line of scrimmage like it is each week in this big 7A classification that we play in. You got to win the trenches and you got pressure on the quarterback, and I thought that was huge.
Yeah, 100%. Control the running game, limit that, and then, force him to have to reset, move the pocket around. And so got a couple big sacks, missed, a couple more where we slid off of him. The kid's he's a good athlete, good runner. But no, I thought that was a huge point of it was being able to pressure him. So absolutely.
All right, I know your group is really healthy too. That's one thing during the season. You had a lot of ebbs and flows with people being out and coming back, and it seems like during this playoff run, people's asked me, how has Opelika been able to get on this run? I think being healthy, especially on the defensive side of football. Yeah,
that was one where I guess the Enterprise and Central Week we were limited big time with who we had. Had two D lineman interior guys that were out, and then Lakedrick at linebacker who had been out since the first time we played Auburn. And so getting those guys back, ultimately in the day, man, you better have some depth. You're playing this level of football. Guys are rotating. So we got to be able to keep some fresh bodies out there and play some different packages to be able to bring in some extra kids as well, for game experience for them, but also to give a little break for some of the rest of those guys. And so, to be able to be where we're at right now with all the dudes that we started the year with is pretty incredible.
All right, I know you've got a challenge this week. Of course, everybody knows Thompson, 8 straight appearances in this title game, and they've got a kid that I don't even know if it's ever been done before, Coach. He's played in this state championship game since the 8th grade. Nothing new for him, but when you watch film on him, they've lost 3 games this year. I know there's some things you can kind of pull from those games, but what does your defense have to do this week to really affect him? Yeah,
he's obviously, it feels like he's played in all 8 straight of them, but man, he's an incredible player. To watch him, just the feel for, obviously he's a great talent, athlete, arm strength, can make all the throws, but man, his experience and be able to read coverages there and be able to put it, and really throw the receivers open. Ultimately, you just don't see that all the time, and so ultimately, man, we got to be able to mix up the coverages, get pressure on him as well. There with 4 or 5, and so it'll be a huge challenge for us there. But again, man, it boils down to limiting those explosive plays and be able to limit the running game as well that we've been good at the last couple games. And so it's a challenge, but every week at this point in time is a huge challenge. And so, man, he's got some great skill guys around him as well that really keep him going. And so Freeman and them do a great job on the offensive side of the ball, and so it'll be a huge challenge for us.
Yeah, and it can be challenging to get pressure on him too, because he gets the ball out so quickly sometimes that, if you want to get pressure on him, you got to get back there quick.
Yeah, it is. He just understands. Nothing really is going to surprise him.
Yeah.
He's seen He's seen it all, you know, with as many games as he's played. And so definitely been able to change the picture. But, I mean, obviously we've seen some people that have a little success, you know, with pressure, and others that tried and it doesn't work out so well, you know, for them. And so it's definitely, you know, something that's got to be done, you know, there. But picking and choosing when and how you do it, you know, is going to be huge for us.
What stands out to you this season? I know it's, I mean, you're in the state championship game, but there's got to be some fun moments when you look back, some plays when this season all wraps up. Hopefully it's a big state championship win, but just from this point back, looking at it, does anything stand out that you go, boy, I won't forget that moment? You
know, I think it's just, I mean, you know, throughout, you know, the majority of our wins, it was, man, it just seemed like it's third or fourth quarter, man, it was somebody stepping up to make a huge play. You know, ultimately to start swinging the momentum our way or to ultimately end the game, right. You know, and it goes all the way back to the Ben Russell game, you know, there at the end and being able to box out, you know, and to play in the end zone and be able to knock it down. And so just plays like that, I think, thinking back.
Too, to end that game,
huge
too.
sack to end it. And so, man, you know, throughout the year, you know, different guys stepping up for us and whether it was a junior or sophomore or senior, you know, to me, looking back on it, it's just been a complete, total team effort, you know, for us.
Defensive coordinator Adam Massey. Coach, good luck. I know it'll be a tall task, but I know your guys are up for the challenge.
Absolutely. Thank you, Van.
We're going to bring up J.D. Atkins. We're going to talk offensive side of the football now for the Opelika Bulldogs, a group that has been really getting better each week, especially here during this playoff run. And Coach Atkins, congratulations. I thought another great showing from your group on offense. C.J. Johnson continues to improve as a running back, and I think more people around the state are finally figuring out who number 3 is for Opelika.
Yeah, no doubt. He's really, you know, we talked about it, I think, back like week 7, week 8, about kind of the challenge that was placed on him to really, you know, not just take more carries, but also, you know, break those bigger runs and really establish his stamp on the game. And I think back to like the Central game and the Carver game, and week after week, he started to do that. And now, I mean, you saw it all culminate last Friday night in just a massive game against Auburn where he was unstoppable. I mean, he's a very good football player. Glad to see him starting to get some of the attention that he deserves recruiting-wise. I think he's going to be a steal for somebody in this recruiting class. But also with that is the development of our offensive line. We've talked about that group a lot this year, our tight end fullbacks as well, of how, you know, we always expected them to be an elite group, and it took a little bit of time for them to gel, handle some injuries, get the pieces in the right place. But they're really coming on lately and playing some of their best ball as well.
Yeah, and your receiving core too. Andre Van with some big catches. Jalen Washington continues to play to the level that, you know, we knew he could play each week. And Whit Cooper, who's not a sophomore anymore, right? He's kind of grown into a junior pretty quickly this season.
He has, man. He's had some big moments this year where he's had to grow up fast, and you know, really proud of him and his development. The job Coach Daniel's done with him has been outstanding. But you talk about that receiver group, you know, each guy's kind of had a week where they had their big moment. You know, you never know which one's going to make the play or when the play is going to come. And Jay Wash and Andre and Bennett and even Cam and Jakari and Keelan and some of those guys that have played kind of some smaller roles to the side. Like that group, we talk about the patience, we talk about the surrender to the O, the ultimate commitment to this program. Like in a run-first heavy offense, like their willingness to just keep putting their face in people and trust that their moment's going to come and then be ready to make that play when it does come. Outstanding job by that group this year.
I know Jordan Waits has been getting better. He's been sidelined with an ankle injury the past couple of weeks. Jalen Nelson has done a really good job coming in and giving CJ some breathing room in the absence of Jordan and those guys. And tough yards too in the second half. He's been able to really pick up some good chunks.
Yeah, I thought, you know, Jalen had probably 4 or 5 carries in the Auburn game, and I thought it was honestly probably one of his better games as far as the type of runs he had. Right, you know, I think in the second half he had a pretty big buck sweep that kind of busted us on a first down to really get a drive started. He had a big counter run there in that same drive to get us into plus territory. He's running the ball extremely well, but like you said, man, when you got a third back that's coming in and doing that as well, the depth of that group, the job Coach Landers has done with those guys as far as getting them ready to handle all of the game plan things we do with the different formations and positions they have to play. That group's been one of the more impressive groups probably on our football team, and really proud of the job they're doing.
And when I look over on the field in the Auburn game in the second half, and I saw the offensive linemen looking over at the crowd, getting people fired up, they're jumping up and down with a pep in their step, eager to go out and for the next block. You can really tell, when you're winning the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, well, there's no shortage of hype or energy on the sideline tent with Coach Fleming and those guys and Coach Epp and Coach Brown and the job they do with that group. Like I said, probably the most improved group definitely on our side of the ball this year. The growth they've had from week 1 to now, about 7 or 8 guys that play in that group consistently. And so being able to see those guys develop, battle through injuries, do some different things, like I said, the growth they've had is why we are where we are. So.
I know you're excited for the matchup. Of course, a challenge on that side of the football defensively. Really big, really tall, too, on the back end for Thompson.
Yeah, a lot of good players. Secondary definitely stands out, right? Two SEC corners, SEC safety, a nickel that just got a big offer this week too. I mean, a lot of good football players. Front's pretty good as well, right? You got number 11, who's a big-time defensive end, and 99, and then the linebackers as well. Really good players. It's a good group. There's not a lot of weaknesses. But I go back to kind of the message we've had all year long, definitely down this backstretch run, which is, we're definitely going to plan for them and all that. But at the end of the day, we have to be who we are. And we can't try to do anything differently or anything like that. So you're going to see the same old group doing the same old thing, which we're going to go out and try to establish the run and be opportunistic and of course, get it to our playmakers when we can. But we have to be us and live in our identity and give us the best chance to win.
Coach Atkins, congratulations on the success so far on the offensive side. It's been great to see the growth of this offense and how it's progressed throughout the season. And I really think now you feel like you're in a position where it's a little easier to call plays with this group and the way they've developed down the stretch, right?
Yeah, definitely some growing pains in there as far as, different injuries, different moments where you're lacking some guys. But then also you talk about, like you mentioned earlier, the growth of Whit Cooper. The freedom that he's starting to get more of, and as he shows the maturity that he has to be able to, handle some checks and some decisions and some post-snap stuff and some pre-snap stuff and just controlling the whole operation, right? When you see the growth of that kid and the young man that he's becoming, like, it makes it a lot easier on us to say, hey, yeah, go do this, let's try this. Like, he can handle those type things. And again, that's a testament to him. It's a testament to the work he's put in since the offseason as far as being ready for this moment. I mean, we started the year with him as the third string guy. And he's prepped as if he was the one the whole time and stayed ready. And like I said, that's a testament to him, his work, the job Coach Daniels with him, getting him prepped, and then just the type of family that he comes from.
Absolutely. We're going to continue. We're bringing up Jamie Ferguson and also Tucker Brown. I want to thank our sponsor, though, Glenn Smith Chevy GMC in Opelika. They're right there off of exit 62, off of I-85. Make sure you go by there and see the folks at Glenn Smith Chevy GMC. They do a great job and have sponsored the Bryan Moore Show each and every week right here on Bryan Moore Show. All right, we got Jamie Ferguson, Tucker Brown with us here as we continue. We're going to bring up Coach Moore in just a bit, but Coach Ferguson, your special teams group, well, they were the highlight last week, especially that big run by C.J. Johnson.
Yeah.
They keep kicking it to him. Hopefully Thompson does as well on Wednesday night.
That's right. Like, we've been so close to busting, C.J. out of there a couple times this year. And just really that was kind of our main focus in the summertime was, making that group better. And, with Coach Brown and Coach Steele both helping and all of our other coaches, man, they just it's been really dedicated to making that group, that kickoff return group better than it was a year ago. So again, to see him finally bust one, man, it's been a really good year on the kickoff return group. But when they kicked in the ball and I saw it rolling, I saw everything setting up, I knew it was going to be a good one. And see him to get that, I know he was pumped.
Yeah, and he's come really close. I mean, bringing them back from the goal line to the 40 to the 45 has been something that's pretty much normal,
right.
And you expect every game. But taking one to the house in a game like that was huge.
It was huge. I was pumped.
And talk about the other aspects, because not only field goals have been big for Opelika and the punting game, especially, and in all aspects really.
Yeah, we have 12 goals that we try to reach each week, and we pretty much have dominated every game, with the exception really being Auburn the first time, where we felt like we just kind of stalemated them. So that was kind of the plan, completely dominated the starting field position, handling Reese doing all the punting, Cam doing great on all the snaps, and our guys getting down covering so we can execute on the punting phase to control that, that field position that a lot of people don't see that's hidden. On top of that, got a partial block from Xavier Thomas. Nobody really even saw it, but their punter kicks it like 50 yards, and one of them he got a piece of, and that's 20 yards. Only went 30 instead of 50. So really just controlled all of the field position in the whole game, and just excited to see those guys compete and work and just see what their hard work is paying off.
Yeah, and in a big game like this, it usually comes down to special teams, and you'd love to get a punt return, punt block, or
Absolutely.
one of those big kickoff returns.
Absolutely. Anytime we can, we call them game changers. You can get those at, it's success for your team. It's going to put you in a good position on offense if you get a punt block or, another kickoff return. Again, I hope they keep kicking it to CJ. But we're ready for if they don't. We got, a plan in place for that as well. But absolutely, those game changers are huge in the momentum and the flow of the game, and every one we can get is going to be needed.
Tucker Brown also joining up with us. He's the general manager of the football team and kind of handles all the operations aspects. And when you play in a state championship game and you've got, now I think, 12 or 13 days to get ready for it, Coach, there's a lot that goes into it, right?
No doubt. We needed all 12 days for sure. It's taken a lot. There's a whole list that the state sends you. There's all kinds of logistics going into it, buses and meals, and so it's been a grind, but it's been fun, and I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Yeah, it's kind of like give us a little insight into, what all happened during the holidays. I know there were some team building things and a lot of different practices that at odd times that you normally don't have.
Odd times, and we fed them on Thanksgiving. That was fun. We had the whole team and their families up. We did a Thanksgiving brunch, and everyone brought stuff, and it felt like a true Thanksgiving, what it's all about, bringing a bunch of people together for a meal, so that was fun. We had practices at odd times. We had practice on Thanksgiving Day before that brunch. Then we had again on Friday night. So you got practice under the lights, and then again on Sunday. So it's been fun, kind of getting the kids off their normal schedule and just kind of keeping them ready to go.
Talk about kind of the game day preparation and what the team will be going through Wednesday when they get ready to head up.
We're going to bring them in. Hopefully, let them sleep just a little bit longer because we'll be out of school that day. But they're going to come in, and we're going to do our normal game day. Try to keep everything the same. That was one of the things we were all about, was not going the night before and staying in a hotel, because we want them to sleep in their own bed, sleep on their own pillow, kind of operate the same as we always have been, and so nothing's the same besides it's just a business trip for us.
Yeah, and I think, and people maybe can agree with this, I don't know, when you go to a hotel, you either sleep really good or you don't sleep, so you don't want to have the other end of that.
Absolutely, and I'm completely honest with you, it makes my life a lot easier not going to a hotel and doing rooming lists and dealing with kids all night, so I get to sleep in my own bed too, so I'm pretty happy about it.
Right, and I know, just kind of go in like you're going on a road game. It just happens to be at a neutral site, and kind of the preparations go about the same way.
Yeah, and playing in a college stadium, so that's big for the kids, and all the logistics that go into that with all the passes and the wristbands and all the media passes, and everyone's got to have all that in order before you go. So it's going to be a nice big venue, and kids are going to be excited. We're going to be excited. It's going to be fun.
All right, what do you think too? I mean, I know you're helping on the offensive side of the football, and just talk about the way this offense has progressed too a little bit, and what you think really stands out.
Yeah, well, everything Coach Atkins said was right on point. And I think the O-line has progressed so much this year. We started out, and it was definitely bumpy at first, and we were having to go through a lot of growing pains and get people in the right places, and like he said, with the injuries. But helping out with the offensive line has been awesome this year, and we've had more coaches than we can count to help out, which has been a huge game changer. And so it's been fun with that, and I think we've progressed a lot with that. And our run game has finally found its way to the top, and we're able to establish a run in these playoff games and get it going and really make a change.
All right, Jamie Ferguson, Tucker Brown, thanks y'all for joining us, and good luck Wednesday.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
We'll continue with the Bryan Moore Show with head football coach Bryan Moore right after this timeout. Welcome back here on the Bryan Moore Show. Bring in head football coach Bryan Moore. And Coach, I think we covered just about everything, so we can be short in this segment.
Good.
But, here you are in the state championship game. This is the first time as you as a head coach have made it to this as a championship game as a head coach. Talk about the feelings for you and the excitement going into this game.
Well, I kind of thought like after the Auburn win, it would sort of like, pour on us, that what had happened, and really, it's the next step, and I don't want to become numb to it, that, the excitement of winning that game and then getting to this one. I want to enjoy it. I want to embrace the moment. I want our players and coaches to as well. But I think everybody collectively now, especially at Opelika, being in this game 3 times in the last, 14 years or whatever it is, 13 years, it's time to win one, And I think like when we came here, the mission, and I know from the guys that have been here a long time, guys that were great friends before I left, they've still been fighting that fight, and trying to get this program to what it deserves. The city to what it deserves. So although I am grateful, and it's a huge accomplishment for our kids. I mean, this team was down and out. I mean, you look at, games, 8 and 9 were not pretty.
Right.
And then we play Carver and we find a way to win, and we have a big, momentum deal with Braden's interception that's been well documented. But really since that point, we've played better. First half of the Hewitt-Trussville game was not perfect by any means, but we hung in there, and then we played really well in the second half, and that momentum has really carried over. And I thought in the Auburn game we played really well. I mean, at the last 2 possessions for them, we didn't get the guys on the ground like we wanted to, and the game got a little bit closer, but we really controlled that ball game. It was 31-14 in the fourth quarter, and so I'm really proud of where we are and the development and growth of our team. And really proud of our coaches and the work that they've put in. I mean, these 2 weeks have been a grind, and I appreciate everything their wives have allowed them to do, but our kids deserve our best, and our city deserves our best, and that's what we're going to do. This is not a celebration, this is a business trip, and it's kind of been our whole thing the whole time is, we're going to go and put our best foot forward and play our guts out, and people have asked me, been an underdog in this game and that game. I said, it doesn't matter. That doesn't matter at all. You go play the ball game, you go play 48 minutes, play the best you can. And even talking with Coach Freeman, actually, he said, but y'all are playing as well as anybody. And we are. We are playing well. And we got to continue to play better and correct some mistakes. The cool part about the prep is that for 2 of those days, we just focused on ourselves because we had 6 practices. So really our first 2 days were corrections and getting to things situationally we don't normally get to. And then after really, I guess the Friday evening, we were able to really get to the intro, Thanksgiving too, but really get to Thompson. But we're excited about the opportunity. We're grateful, but the work is still unfinished.
Yeah, I think the challenge for both of these teams, their game, over a week ago now was kind of, they kind of made it like that was the state championship game.
You're right.
And you knock off a big rival, and you can't make that be a state championship type game. And,
Right.
and they've got to believe that Opelika can come win this game, and
Right.
Opelika's got to believe that they can go win that game.
No doubt. I totally agree. I think it's about our self-confidence. And I think, when you have an opponent that's been to 8 straight state championship, like that's not lost on us. Like we understand that. And we talked about that. We talked about, some of the players that they have. But, again, ultimately, and JD said it, and I'm sure the other coaches did as well, it's about us. It's about being the best version of ourselves, about playing our game. We can't go win it Thompson's way, right? And we hope that they can't win it our way, And so that's the way that we want to prepare. And again, it's been about us. Yes, of course, we've done our scout and our prep and all that deal. We've done a ton of stuff getting ready for them. But ultimately, it's about being, healthy and getting after it. And luckily, again, those 10, 12 days have afforded us a little bit of time off. And hopefully our football team, is not only physically refreshed, but mentally refreshed too. Coach McCracken used to talk about like, am I still wanting to be here? Well, obviously in the state championship game you do. We practiced a long time, man. I told the guys, I said, well, in about, 2 more months, we'll start again, and do our off-season stuff. So it's almost year-round. I feel like our kids are still connected. I think that we're going to, raise the shield for each other and be there for each other in the game and fight our guts out for our city.
Yeah, what's the big message to your team, before they head out on that field Wednesday? I know it's quite an accomplishment to get here, but like you said, you don't want that to be the end result. You want it to be a state championship win. Well,
this is an immortal legacy type moment, right? Like, you talk about, you look at, I get texts from Corey Grant and Will Herring and some of these all-time greats, recent history guys as well, that I get, texts from, and it's time to win one for them. You think about all those jerseys that are hanging on the wall, and that played in the NFL and all that kind of stuff. The one thing those guys don't have is a blue map, and so for our team, it's an opportunity to truly make history, right? And that has to matter. Like that's forever and always. And, for us to have this opportunity, I think in 12, I talked about this before, like it was overwhelming. Getting there, beating, Auburn and Carver, teams that had beaten us, the year earlier and or in the year. I thought that was sort of the step we were hunting for. And then Hoover was just extra. We wanted to win and we fought like crazy and all that stuff. But we've been there now, And it's time to play our best ball in that game and see what can happen. You know, so again, we're excited and just a blessing to be here. But again, the work is not finished.
Yeah, and in the 2016 year, it was Opelika was the heavy favorite to win that game and came up short.
Right.
You know, so it can work either way. And you know, they've been to 8 straight, but you know, hey, you know, they've lost some along the way too.
Right, for sure. And again, this is teenage boys, right? Okay, let's keep it all in perspective. That are going to go play 48 minutes at a 100-yard field, and let's see if we can catch some breaks and see if we can make some great plays like we did against Auburn. I mean, our best players played their best in that game. You know, Jay Wash and Dre and some of those guys made massive plays defensively, massive plays. Xavier Thomas, like we made those plays. Baby TJ made some big plays in that game, and obviously C.J. Johnson and Reese and all those guys. Whit Cooper, 10 of 11. You know, I mean, go and play and let's have self-belief and confidence. We don't feel like we're the underdog. I mean, again, if you wanted to look at it that way, you should look at our first 3 games and see that we've been basically double-digit underdogs in every game. Yeah. Okay, if we wanted to buy into that world, then we could have just gone out in the first round. Right? We could have come home after that and started bouncing the basketball. Yeah. But that's not what we did. And we've decided, you know, we've chosen to stay in the fight and go again, give our best shot for this city.
That's the same thing. I was having a conversation with somebody that said, oh, and I talked to another coach who said, you know, Opelika's going to lose by 30. And I'm going, well, he probably thought we're going to lose by 30 in the other 3 games.
Yeah. If I'm an outsider looking in, that's fine, you know, but you don't live in our world.
That's right.
You know, you don't coach or play here. So, and you're not a family member, you know, you're not connected to this community and understand what this community is. This community has been created on this foundation, right? And so if we want to talk about underdogs, we've lived that life, right? And we're willing to live in that world like we said against Auburn. We're willing to embrace the darkness. That's okay. Everything that we've done has been in the dark, right? And we're fine with that, okay? And so for us, we'll stay in that world and we'll just carry that bubble to Birmingham. We'll just see what happens.
I'd like it. Coach, we appreciate the visit as always and certainly look forward to another state championship show after the state championship game to recap all this.
Definitely sounds great, man. Thank you for all you've done too. Absolutely. And Tracy and everybody involved. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much. This has been the Bryan Moore Show. We'll see everybody in Birmingham Wednesday night.